You tried to hold me down, so I became a soldier. Built up all these walls, and now I'm climbing over those nasty bees are tempting me, oh Lord, but I ain't going back. You take me for a fool, it doesn't make me foolish. Told me I was wrong, passion made you ruthless, manipulate. It's just too late. Oh Lord, but I ain't going back no more. Fueling up the flames, gonna show you what I'm made of. Breaking every chain that you put on me. You thought I wouldn't change, but I grew on you. Cause I will never be what you wanted. This fire's keeping me alive. Help, I have done it again, and I have been here many times before. Hurt myself again today, and the worst part is there's no one else to blame. And be my friend, hold me.
Well, thanks so much for joining, Jonathan.
It's a pleasure, my brother.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, obviously, fantastic singer, fantastic performer, songwriter. You know, you've written some incredible stuff, Jonathan. You know, just Keep Me Alive, Lights of Los Angeles. You know, sick covers, man. Delicate from Damien Rice, U2, One, Breathe Me. I could go on and on, man. Just wanted to welcome you to the show, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, you know, first of all, Jonathan, how are things up in Montreal? I know you're about an hour or an hour and a half north, but and I heard that they're putting some like crazy rules for Christmas in Montreal. Is that the case?
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, I guess it's necessary as well. I mean, this is special, man. We've never really lived something like this, man. So,
Yeah.
I guess we got to kind of follow what the government is kind of wanting to do with us, unfortunately, and just to keep some people safe, and you know, some people are definitely a risk. So, I think it's important to think about them. And I mean, yeah, it's tough. But it's 1 year. I think it's going to be okay after this winter. I mean, they've got a vaccine coming in, and it you know, it is what it is. So
Yeah.
hopefully people can get together a little bit. I know that I think our restrictions are about, I think it's like 10 people max or something like that, which I think is fine. I mean, considering what's happening around the world and the lives we're losing, I think we got to do a little something to help.
Yeah, absolutely, Jonathan. Obviously, the year is pretty much over. How do you think you'll look back on it, Jonathan? Obviously, you know, you did some nice traveling, you did some good hiking, but how do you think you're going to look back at 2020?
Man, that's a great question. Because it's been one hell of a year for me. You know, last 3 years have been pretty ups and downs, right? Getting dropped by my label, buying a van, living in a van for about 2 years, and then just writing and trying to find my sound. So this year has been probably musically one of the greatest years, because I have found my sound, my voice, and it feels really good. And to kind of be doing that, I'm not doing alone, but in a way I am, not being controlled by a record label or a mentor or anything like that. I've learned a lot over the years, and now I feel like I'm prepared to kind of do this on my own, but with some help. And you know, you met Paul's an amazing man. He's been helping me with my management, and so it's a year of just figuring out what I wanted, and I've got that, and it feels really good.
That's great to hear. That's really exciting to hear. I mean, you're definitely making waves here in satellite radio. That's, you know, that's yeah, for sure, in Sirius XM. So that's good. I did want to ask you, obviously, you know, your songwriting is it's pretty neat, man. Ever since your first album. So I did want to ask you a little bit about that. You know, when you're working, Jonathan, and it
Mhm.
is work. People see you performing and they see you having fun, but it is work. Do you like the actual work of writing a lyric? Do you go somewhere, like, will you tell your wife, like, honey, I'm gonna go to the cabin 9 to 5 and come
Mhm.
up with something, or is it like when inspiration hits you, Jonathan?
It's a bit of both, to be honest with you. It's definitely a bit of both. You have sometimes I do need to get away and you know, drive up to a cabin or something, or rent a little spot with my boys, my band, or even just go on a writing camp with some friends. And sometimes it's you're at home and you're thinking about something and a lyric pops up or a melody comes in and you just go for it. Usually for me, that's the best. I think when you're just thinking about something, or you're watching a movie, or something happens in your life, a friend calls you, his girlfriend left him, or he's, you know, going through something with
Something, yeah.
drugs, or whatever it may be, depression. Sometimes those moments, instead of just, for me, I guess the way that I deal with those moments is I grab my guitar and I grab a little pad, and I just start writing about how I feel.
Yeah.
Uh, because I'm someone that's I'm shy, and I like to kind of keep for myself, and music is like the way for me to really express myself, and it's always been like that since I was a kid.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of since you were a kid, you know, the when you were 13, kind of you started writing poetry, right? Do you remember some of these first signs of like loving poetry, loving songwriting, like your first memories?
Um, well, by the way, my poetry was terrible. When I was a kid, and I was really bad in English class. But I think you know, it just slowly, it took a lot of time to get lyrics out there for me, especially at the beginning of my career. And then all of a sudden, words would just flow, and it would be really, really quick. And now I'm really slow to writing songs. And
Yeah.
but my earliest memories, man, I guess I was writing for women. I I
Nice.
remember I remember being in love with this girl called Monica, and
Uh-huh.
writing forms and trying to impress her.
That's pretty
So I
good.
guess, yeah, I guess that's where it all kind of started from.
Did it work?
Uh, in a way, it did. In a way, it did.
Okay.
I'm not married to her or anything like
Yeah,
that
right.
anymore. You know?
Cool. Cool,
Yeah, man.
man. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, you know, when did you realize that, you know, sports wasn't for you? Obviously, actually, one of my best friends is Dan Marino's son.
Okay.
So, so I do have like some context here to ask you this, and he's also a writer in Hollywood. He didn't go the athletic route. When did you like realize, man, like I respect what my dad's doing, but without a doubt, like I just, you know, I'm an artist.
Um, it came pretty naturally,
Pretty
man.
natural.
Yeah, I was probably 17 or 18, and my career was in junior hockey league was ending slowly. I mean, I had a certain talent, but I don't think I would have played NHL. I was too small. I was a goalie, 5'11". 5'11" nowadays in net is tiny. So I knew that I had to make a decision one day to kind of let it go. And it
Mm,
was tough because, you know, I didn't want to disappoint my dad. And it's, in reality, it's all I really knew was hockey. That was it, man. Since I was, you
sure.
know, 1, 2, that's all I that's all I had learned at the time. And at 17, 18, I was writing songs, but I mean, I was writing hip hop, I was rapping,
Nice.
and it was just for fun. I never thought that, to be honest with you, I never thought I'd make a career out of it. And so I just kept doing it. I kept doing it, and then I finished an album, and then a second album, and a third album, and a fourth album. It just became a lifestyle. It just became who I was naturally,
I love it.
and I didn't have to force it. And you know, my parents, you know, helped me out at first. I was, you know, I had no money. Um, I couldn't pay for a studio. I couldn't for mixing or anything like that. And so they helped me out, and it was without them, I probably, maybe I wouldn't be doing this today. So they
Yeah.
gave me the opportunity to kind of dreams, and
Sure.
I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that's great, man. I do want to ask about your California van trip, of course. Yeah, you've talked about it a million times, but first, you touched on your first couple albums. I know you said at the beginning that you were finding your voice this year and all that, but I gotta tell you, Jonathan. I mean, when you talk about something like "What I've Become," which already came out like 11 years ago, crazy.
Yeah,
Um, Dude, it's a fantastic debut, Jonathan. Like you can definitely, obviously, you're a better singer performer now, but you can see tints of greatness in there. How do you look back at that record?
I appreciate that. Well, to be quite honest with you, I think it's god awful, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
but
that's
that's probably so I'm so close to it, and I know how much I've
mhm,
evolved. When I listen to all the old stuff, I realize how much I've evolved over the last 11, 12, 13 years. And I'm very, very proud of that. I put a lot of hours, and I always say this, I'm not talented. I'm a hard worker, and I never had at the beginning. I could barely sing, but I just put hours and hours and hours into it, and eventually it happened. And hard work pays off, man. And so yeah, I think being obsessed with it and having a huge passion for it just got me to own my craft slowly but surely.
that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I slightly disagree. I think you're very talented and hard worker, but sure.
Thank you, brother.
Um, Gotta ask you, Jonathan, about the 2-3 year trip down the California Pacific Coast Highway, because what
Yeah.
an epic story that is, man. Like you can almost see, Eddie Vedder playing you, Wind in the Air, kind of like, this great story. Tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about it, man. How did the idea come about, the whole thing?
Yeah. Well, I was got off a tour, actually a couple tours, and I was quite exhausted of being told go do this, go do that. You got to sing like this. You got to write like this. And so I really needed to kind of disconnect from that world a little bit and go into a world of figuring out who I really am. And in reality, I never had that opportunity. As a hockey player, even as a kid, being a hockey player, you're thrown on the ice, you
Hmm.
play hockey, you're told this is what you're going to do in life. You're told to go to school, and you never really go out and find yourself, and it's rare.
True.
And I've always seen videos or movies where like kids or 17, 18-year olds, they just go out and take their with their backpacks, and they just have their little tent, and they just go see the world, and they go explore. And I really wanted to do that. I wanted to
Yeah.
see the world, and I wanted to see who I really was without people telling me what to be.
Hmm.
um
How old were
and
you, Jonathan?
I was man, it was maybe what, 3-4 years ago, that five
Gotcha.
5 years ago, yeah.
Got it. Got it.
I'm terrible with dates and stuff, but and numbers. But I wanted to discover who I was, and it was amazing to just go off the edge, kind of jump off the edge, and feel that fear, and just say, hey, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna spend all the money that I kind of have right now, and buy this van, buy this, the gas, and just drive for hours and hours, and
So
just
cool.
go see the world. And it really it was amazing, man. Not to think of okay, I got to be here at 5, I got to be here at 9, I got to eat at 12.
Sure.
Like no schedule whatsoever, just complete freedom of just going out there and seeing the world.
Amazing.
And yeah, it was I needed it. And I was kind of lost, because at the same time I didn't know if I wanted to do music anymore. Maybe I was like, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I need to go on a different route. And on my travels, I just grabbed the guitar and I just started writing. And I started really connecting with music a lot more on a whole other level, because I felt like I was doing it really for me again, like how I started.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So nice.
not to make money, not to please people, just to please myself, and to get shit out. And that was the turning point for me. Keeping Me Alive came out. I met up with Brian Howes out there, and then, you know, the new single that's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks, Lost. It just, they just started pouring out, and it really felt good to connect with music and to do it. I wanted to do it.
Damn, what a phenomenal story. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely, man. That's great. That's great to hear.
Thank you.
I mean, we're lucky. We're so glad that you found yourself and you rediscovered that passion. But yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about covers for a second, Jonathan, because you're damn good at them, and that's hard to do. It's so like 90% of covers, you just miss the mark. But you grab something like U2's One or Breathe Me by Sia. By the way, you work a lot with Kate Richardson. She's phenomenal, and she works amazing with you.
Yeah.
Side
Yeah.
note, you guys make a heck of a match, but whatever. How do you get into the pain of some of the characters of some of these songs? Because these are dark songs, Jonathan. These are songs that are not easy to sing, and you transmit that, and you do it like you come out alive. Like, how do you go through that process?
Well, I mean, I guess you when you listen to a song, you go back to your old memories and the things that you've experienced. And so, you know, listening, like when I did the Damien Rice song or the Sia song, I just go back to what I've lived and how the song makes me feel. And I take it from there. And, you know, I listen to, I used to listen to a lot of music, and recently I've just kind of backed off of it and really focused on writing and stuff. But I love singing songs from other people that really, really connected with me. And Sia's song and Damien Rice's song, and, you know, there's a couple more that are going to be coming out soon. But I just connect with them, and it just naturally comes, man. I don't try to do too much. I try to be myself with them. I think that's the most important thing. A lot of people kind of try and copy exactly what's happening on a record, and I try to just grab the song, grab the chords, grab the lyrics, the melodies, and just try and say, okay, hold on, like, let's say I wrote this song, this is how maybe it would go,
Right.
and I try to just stay natural on it and be me, and let my voice kind of take control of the song. Sometimes I sing songs, man, that I think I would nail, and it just vocally doesn't work for some reason. I don't connect vocally or emotionally, and it happens. But I appreciate it, man, because, you know, those are amazing artists. Damien Rice is, I mean, he's
underrated.
The way he
I
writes
think he's
songs.
underrated. You know, he's great.
I mean, well, he decided to go in a non-commercial route, right? And not a lot of people have balls to do that. It takes a lot of fucking balls to go down. And he's doing it, and good for him. Good for him, because people, I know a lot of people admire him. A lot of artists admire these kind of people, like Reina Montagne, who are not really known that much, but artists are inspired by these people, and they've inspired me.
That's great, man. That's awesome. That's great to hear. And you know, you've been so generous with your time, Jonathan, but I do want to ask you, because you seem like you're from, like, you know, an authentic, artistic cloth, obviously, and I love that. You're super authentic. But, you know, there's so many freaking games now. The industry's like developing. It's so different now than it was like a year ago, with the Spotify playlists, with TikTok. Man, like, iTunes is like, go ahead.
Businesses. That's with all businesses. You look at sports, you look at music. Back in the day, you know, let's say if we talk about sports, back in the day, you'd play hockey or you play football or baseball because you wanted to win that trophy. You wanted to win that World Series, the Stanley Cup, the Super Bowl. That was it. That was the kid's dream. Now what's happening is, I want the paycheck. I want the And that's the society, unfortunately, that we're living in. Money has really dominated the world. And I hope that one day, I think slowly we're going back to understanding that we need to play sports for the love of the game, or, you know, play it because you love it and because you need it, not because you want to be a star, or you want to make millions and millions of dollars. You know, and the reality of it is you can be truly, truly happy making music or playing hockey or whatever at a low level, you know, and at least you're doing it. And if you're doing it from the heart, I think that's the most important thing anyways.
I love it. Damn, that's inspiring. Absolutely. So you're not into like all this, like, you know, this game of TikTok and Spotify and, you know, how do we get on all these charts and all this craziness going on right now?
Yeah, my label, like we have, not my label, but the people that work with out in LA, they do want to push me onto it. It's tough for me to go and do it. I've done it before. I've done it with, you know, when I was with Warner Music, and in reality, it doesn't. I don't like it. You know,
It's exhausting. It's definitely artistically draining. I'll tell you that.
True. And it takes a lot of time, and I don't know. I feel like, look, these social media platforms are amazing, you know, to connect with fans. Like, it's beautiful what has come from them, but there's also a negative. And I'm trying to kind of find the balance between the two. And, you know, I give a bit of my life. I show them who I am a little bit, but I do restrain a lot and keep for myself. I think it's important to kind of find balance in it and to feel comfortable in it. So, I mean, I think it's important to connect with fans, and I think these platforms are great. But I'm going to just find a balance and leave it like that. Yeah.
Perfect, Jonathan. You
Yeah.
know, you said it all. Why don't you leave us with a little bit of a teaser of what's artistically? You mentioned a couple singles coming out. What can you tell us about Jonathan Raw in 2021?
Well, everything kind of, it's tough because everything's kind of lingering, and you're planning something and everything gets canceled, or it's a very weird time that we're living in, unfortunately. But we have the new single Lost, which I think is, I mean, it's one of my favorite songs that I've ever written. It's a beautiful, beautiful song with a very, very powerful message about, you know, being lost and holding on, that shit will get better with time. And yeah, I'm a big fan of the song, and I think it's much stronger than Keeping Me Alive. So I'm excited to see
Ooh,
how people.
heavy words. Love it.
Yeah. So I'm excited. We're going out to film the video in the next couple of days, and I can't wait for people to see that. And I think we've got a really, really cool concept, and hopefully do a live version of that as well. You know, I love doing these live versions. Keep Me Alive, the acoustic version that we did on YouTube.
Yeah,
I mean,
some would say it's better. I mean, I'm undecided. I don't know, you know, but like they're both unique monsters.
yeah, and they're very difficult. I mean, these are one takes and non-edited, and you know, one thing goes wrong, you know, you're wasting people's times, and it's something. So it's but I think they're really, really important because it shows the kind of artist I am, and you know, you know, with those kind of videos, you can't go around them. It is what it is. They're real, and so it's and people get to see you sing and do it for real. There's something special about those. I really, really love the live acoustic videos.
I love it.
Yeah,
Jonathan, you said
Jamie.
it all.
Thank you, Jamie.
You've been
Appreciate it,
so
brother.
generous with your time. It's been a pleasure. And listen, you know, Florida, it's always going to be part of you. So welcome
Thank
anytime.
you. Thank you. Yeah, I look
All
forward
right.
to being back there and being in the sun a little bit, because you know, I don't think you're gonna like the -10 if you come out here -20. It's
Well,
rough.
listen, we love the poutine and all the good food up there as well. So it's great seeing
Awesome.
you, man.
Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate it, brother.
Take
Thank you
care.
for music, man.